And we're back. It is time for Act 2. Our champ at the very top here is the Automaton. We've got a pretty spicy path here. I got a couple feelings about this, but we were talking a little bit off camera about something that I wanted to bring into a discussion on camera. In fact, both of us wanted to. It is the discussion of we have the genetic algorithms. They are individual large blocks. We're going to be abusing the hell out of them with the Echo form, but how are we going to block the other turns against the heart?
Yep. And so my response was, there's a lot of ways to get from this deck to a deck that beats the heart. And I do think this exercise is really valuable, by the way, and particularly if you are watching this series to try to improve your Slay the Spire play. Gosh, one of the best pieces of advice that I can offer for almost any player is to just slow down every once in a while. Think about where you are and where you're going. Defect really rewards that kind of macro level play. So we've got these genetic algorithms in a few floors, they full block 2 turns for us. And then what, right? Using them as really good front-loaded block with enough quick damage scaling alongside through like darkness to fight elites is a way. If we fight enough elites and find enough rare cards and relics, we can find answers like calipers. Because with a genetic algorithm or 2 and an echo form, you can realistically get to a point by the end of the game where double playing those genetic algorithms makes you hundreds of block. And with calipers, that just bought you a lot of turns. Now all you have to do is burn, right? I also think that with Consume in the deck already and the energy we have, we really could get back to a point to where Frost is a substantial part of our block. And you can cycle Frost and Darkness together in a real way, or even Frost, Darkness, and Lightning and just push damage with a Static Discharge accompanying. We've got good answers. And we can get even weirder. We've already got an Echo form, which means that powers that we pick up are kind of double saturated. Echo form double defragment is not just a lot of focus, it's also 3 powers, which makes Force Field a very good block card, especially with the extra draw in any other cycling we find like Rebound and Hologram. I have probably beaten the heart a half dozen times to where all of the block in the deck was Force Fields and All for One. It's way more consistent than I think people realize. So there's a lot more answers that we can find, but you're right, that just genetic algorithm, it buys us 2 turns. How do we make it buy us 5 or 6? It's a great question.
So I've never thought about All for One bringing back Force Field. I think I've drafted it seriously 2 times. Total.
It's really good. It's really good.
The thing that you were talking about Echo Form having double the saturation of the powers in our deck and double decreasing the cost of the Force Field. But secondarily, Force Field is a card that just has, at that point, no cost, but a large block number on it. It's a good target for a doubling, for an Echo Form after you're in your second cycle.
Field. Yep. There's 32 block.
So one of the things I wanted to bring up in response to you talking about the genetic algorithms, and in particular talking about calipers, is my want to go to this early shop and possibly eat value by going to a second shop afterwards. So
to dig for specific relics?
To dig for specific relics, but also because we have a fight early, another fight afterwards, as well as a question mark. A fair few of the question marks on this floor, Ritual Dagger, the Necronomicon, a fair few of them will deal damage to you, which we will then immediately heal back up. I think the health restoring of the meal ticket makes it a little easier to take this path that's, yes, a little value light, possibly, but it could also be ridiculous.
I think that's a reasonable idea. I guess the one consideration is to make sure that we're meaningfully cycling potions, because we do have a regen potion. But I actually really like that because I suspect the deck that we have right now is a really good foundation, and we're looking for spice. And merchants are a really good way to find that, right? So I like that. Take a fight, heal up, maybe buy something, maybe just get a removal. Strike removals are very strong.
Yeah. Let's get some spice.
Nice. I like that idea. I wouldn't have done that. This is something I love about Collab Ladder Streak for sure.
One of my favorite things about it as well. I think we actually overplay this hand, double play the Darkness, trip, defend, because the next hand is almost guaranteed to either have a genetic algorithm in it or a good block card anyway. So I think we're fine for the next turn.
But for what it's worth, we don't have to double defend. We can just single... No, we should double defend. You're right. I was going to say because we have meal ticket, but we're already at 13 off. Yeah. Wow. Such value.
Gotta love double playing that.
You do.
Actually, hang on. Just throw out the electrodynamics?
And then how much damage is that this turn?
It's a 24-3 as well as 6. Sorry, 24-8 as well as 6.
Yeah. I only wanted to make sure that we didn't win. It's the strange. I call this lethal plus. Lethal plus is once you have things like feed or genetic, you're not just looking to win. You're looking to win really, really hard.
It's also really, really good that we got the double genetic algorithm. They're done. That's perfect.
Yeah. I really think that this cool-headed is fine. I might draft it here because I think that in our lust for the deck that blocks without frost, we might lose out on a chance to just consistently block with frost. With frost.
Okay. What
are you looking?
I was much closer to leaving, frankly.
Yeah.
Like I'm even closer to rebound than I am to cool-headed here. But I think I am leaning in very much on the idea that we are going to get other sources of block that aren't frost, and it's good to have a little bit of playing in the field.
I don't think we'll regret it too much, and it's still orb cycling. Oh.
Well, this is a shop.
Yeah. I don't think we need the hyper beam this time. I think the draw and the electro is enough with the consume. And
that's such a slow setup for defense against like an AoE fight though. Like this is a one-turn solution.
And we win. But it's also a one-turn solution that we don't want to play until we've double played the genetic algorithms. It's so good. I almost never skip this hyper beam. I think it's so strong for clearing key fights in Act 2 and 3. But I still think it's worth taking a long, hard look at whether we can get away. It's basically not, is it good? It's, can we afford not to? Because if so, we should skip it and save the money, get a removal, and focus on leveling our genetics.
Go for the double removal over the next 2 shops?
Yeah. Or hell, pick up that loop.
I like all of it.
Consume. Yeah.
Especially double playing a loop with a Echo Form, 4 extra triggers of your front with consume for the extra focus in the deck. It's a lot.
Yeah. And we'll have fights, where we could very meaningfully, here's a path for us. Pick up Inserter. Our plan for Time Eater is actually to slow down. Consume, loop, double loop, frost, wait, outscale the fight, 1 darkness, right? So there will be fights where we can play very differently and lean on that frost really heavily.
All right. I'm intentionally taking the damage here because if the next is not an elite fight, not an event that is going to cause us to take damage, we'll heal it back up with the meal ticket. I'm explaining this not to you, but to other people who might not have considered why that would be.
Oh, I'm an external thinker. I say that I speak to think, so I really like being privy to. Even if I might know what they are, it's still really fun and valuable to me to hear them. And for everyone else, certainly, too. Also, we're basically using health as a resource to double play the genetic algorithms, knowing that Eternal Feather and Meal Ticket have our back, right?
Yep.
Because we could have played that on turn 1, but...
I'm just going to pass and go for the extra draw to kind of get out the days in the deck.
Yeah. That's the power we had against this fight, right? That's why we dropped the artifact pot.
All right.
GG.
I could have played the strike there, but it's over with the dark.
It does not matter. Yeah, we double darkness and it's GG. Is it GG?
Did I forget something? No, I didn't forget something. It's totally fine. We take 1 damage and then kill the enemy.
Ooh. I think yes. I think it's worth.
Yeah.
It's a great upgrade target. It's a great Echo Form target.
It's so good with Echo Form. Oh.
Is this the turn where we single play genetic? Is it worth?
For 14, I think so. Now that we are taking, now that we have taken damage, rather.
Yeah, I think so too. Unless this is the fight where we regen pot or something.
We do have the Emerald Elite as our first elite if we are taking that path. I really want to save it for that.
Well, and we're healing with the Eternal Feather too. We have a lot of health to play with. It's okay. I think I would have played it there because this fight is scary enough. It lets us take some damage on the next turns with things like Rebound Darkness or whatever. Double Darkness, I guess, is the play.
Yeah, let's take some damage. Although one of those should have been the
watch play.
Yeah, the charge battery would have been the extra energy for the next turn. This one is
maybe it would have denied you the pocket watch.
Yeah, it would have denied the pocket watch. That's the
yeah.
thing. This one's kind of just play the impactful cards.
I love this. I love this because I was having a conversation on stream the other day about the best mentality to watch someone play games like Slay the Spire. And one thing that I've noticed and that I've pushed back against is people coming in kind of like with the mindset of looking for me to be making a mistake. What am I doing wrong? And what I posited is that it's far more fun and also more valuable to instead look for the things I'm doing right. To come in with a baseline assumption that I am a good player and I'm going to do some excellent things, or I'm going to make some cool decisions. What are they? What neat things did you do? Double the reinforced, double the fun. Is that too much? Skim? Maybe it's skim here. Oh God, but over another reinforced? Do we have enough money for Kimex?
Can I pitch something?
Yeah.
It's boot sequence. So the reason I want to pitch boot sequence here is because the genetic algorithms are block we never want to play on turn 1. The only block card we want to play on turn 1 right now, charge battery, reinforced body, but that doesn't help us set anything up if it's actually getting value. Cool-headed for no defense.
Yeah. The boot sequence is pretty good. There's such a good argument for all these cards, right? Skim can be a great doubling target as a way to fill the hand, particularly on non-pocket watch turns. The reinforced body plus is obscene. 2 reinforced bodies in this deck means we can always full block on a turn if we want to. But I really like the boot sequence, and the boot sequence also opens up a bottle really, really well. Like, we would love to bottle Echo Form. It just further cements scary turn 1s, and boot sequence helps to offset that. So I like that a lot. I can dig it. Let's do it.
Cool. It's hard for me to turn down the upgraded reinforced body as well. It's just I'm thinking about the position we're in and when we need our
really
block
smart.
and when we can get it.
Right. What are the real problems we have now, right? I've got to imagine the preserved insect is worth the cost of not removing, right?
Has nothing to do with a possible apotheosis?
Honestly, I think we're going to get our key upgrades online.
So we've got 1 rest in the next space, which is an upgrade. This one's possibly an upgrade. It is coming after 2 elites, one of them emeralds. That might actually be a rest. But
maybe
eternal feather, regen
could
potion
be for sure.
So what are the upgrades we still need, right? Like loop,
reinforced body,
electrodynamics, because then double playing it actually evokes a lot more.
6, which is it's so good. That's the thing that we want it to. In fact, that actually might be our upgrade for the double elite fights is Electro because of the play with Echo Form.
Okay.
That plus preserved insect is just a win in those fights. That's the reason why I would lean there, is to help us keep snowballing across elites. But anyway, to quickly conclude my thought, I guess the reason I brought that up is not to wax philosophic or give advice about how you should watch games, but it's because I had that moment during that fight. Defect is such a complex class, and it was just really cool to watch you play and be like, oh man, I like that. You know, I wouldn't have immediately intuited that line, or I wouldn't have thought to lead with that card. It's so many different ways to win.
Yeah, it's the thing that I love the most about this game.
Yeah. Any line that wins is a good line.
I want to hold.
Do you ever use a potion here? Is there any potion
Use
that
the
we would
regen
want to
already?
use? Nah, I mean we will wait till turn 2, right? I mean, because we'll whiff on the 5.
Yeah. I don't see the impact 1 energy is going to have drastically anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. We would have drawn for Echo Form, I guess, to lead. We're probably going to play an un-Echo Formed Electro, and that just clears the map. I agree. Let's hold, and then next turn could be a gambler's target to get to Electro.
Yes.
I like this. And with 8 cards. That's strong.
Well, we found it. I mean, that's already the kill on the chumps. Do we...
There is one thing we could do.
Charge battery?
The one thing that we could consider, this feels like the wrong way to use this potion, but we could Gambler's Brew the Echo Form and a handful of cards so that the Echo Form does not exhaust. If we think that this is a strong enough turn that we can play around getting it online and doubling genetic. Otherwise, we just let it burn, save the potions, play the regen potion, and do some aggressive stuff.
I like... See, I do like the idea of saving it, but now that we already have 3 focus and we're about to put Electrodynamics online, I don't know if we have a long enough time left in the fight to then play Echo Form and the genetic algorithms.
Yeah, well, I think we'll just end up whiffing. And if there's a fight to not try to be too cutesy, it's Emerald Gremlin. It's not a fight to wait for.
I'm just going to go for 2 more stacks of 11 damage here instead, actually.
Sure, I'm into that. Do we regen? Did we, rather?
We did not.
Should we now?
Yeah, that's my bad. That's a 5 health loss right there.
No, it's probably more like a 2 health loss. Or a 3.
Right. I really would have liked if we also could have afforded the ball lightning that was in the previous shop. We had 20 left over, but it was 22.
Yeah. How big is genetic yet?
That's 19. I kind of want a genetic reboot. Or I could just actually dual cast just clears the chumps. So genetic, clear the chumps, and then go for it.
And try to full block.
Well, I mean, full block is already available though.
Yeah. And they can't, and I like this too because it lets us get more turns out of our regen. We can close this, I think, before the next attack. 30 damage in 2 turns is what's asked of us, basically.
Mm-hmm.
So is that double darkness and end?
That'll... I mean, yeah, it'll evoke the... No, wait, it won't. We don't have Echo Form out.
We don't have double.
Right. It's fine. Okay. We'll have no problem evoking it later and getting the kill. Maybe throw in a rebound just to make it a little easier.
Sure. Yeah. I like it. And in fact... Does that... Well, it doesn't matter, right?
Yeah, it's not gonna work anymore.
And Loop is beginning a turn. Well, we got the turn there. We got the 1 extra turn. That's all we wanted.
Did we need any more upkeep?
Wow. If we were not sure that we were healing enough, you can have it for free.
Thank you.
I'm not gonna say no.
Much appreciated.
We will get to a point to where if our core strategy for scaling damage against big single targets is darkness, where we're starting to struggle to do that consistently. And I do think that that's something for us to be contemplative of, but I think that what we've... Did you genetic?
I did not.
Too fast.
We were too fast to do it. My worry there was that the enemies are going to scale up, and I have the genetic in hand, but I do not have Echo Form yet, and I don't want to have to go multiple hands more into the deck in enemies scaling up by 3 strength a turn.
It's fair. The hologram is an always pick, I think.
Yeah.
I do think with Birdface turn, we can be... This is kind of like a feed run. We can certainly use health to play.
Mm-hmm.
You want a Sapphire? Sure.
Yeah, I want the Sapphire Key. We've already got the extra health out of the Strawberry, but also I don't want to have to turn down, Fossilized Helix next floor.
I agree. I'm feeling like right now, health is not the thing that's going to make us win from here. I agree.
Oh, yes. Yeah, like that just gets played.
I agree.
Do we have... Okay, so the incoming damage is 27,734, right? Do we want to possibly use the speed potion for an extra 10 block this turn?
What about the swift potion here to dig for more attacks to finish one off? Can we do that?
Yeah. We could.
Do we have enough attack damage to do that?
Do we have a specific reason to want to save the speed potion over a swift potion or the inverse? Because
speed potion specifically is good for the hyper beam turn against Bronze Automaton, because of Echo Form plus like Reinforced Body or something is just a full block by itself. So there is at least one turn where it's valuable.
Okay.
But that doesn't mean that it's not correct here necessarily. I'm just wondering if there's a path by which we can draw cards and close.
See, I really like still having Swift and Gambler's Brew because it gives us so much control over a hand. We can dig like 8, not just 8, sorry, we can dig 3 cards and then toss all of those to dig another 8.
Okay, let's burn it. Sure, I'm in.
All right, cool.
I think mostly we're using Gamblers on turn 2 after getting Pocket Watch, right? Just because that's so consistent. Oh, Hyper Beam has the double bonus here of letting us stall for longer against the Taskmaster if we want to. Which is actually
Hang on. Do we slow down suddenly?
Yeah, I think we want to kill the slavers at the end and then get Echo Form online and slow down, yeah.
Okay. How do we...
Is there a way to do that? We can use Reboot to save it if there's anything else we can do here. We just need to kill... It's either kill both the front and the back and Reboot, or it's Echo Form... yeah. Okay. I see a few lines. There's a line where we play Genetic, one of them on this turn, just to make the block easy. There's a line where we're not weakened, so we can strike Hollow Strike to kill the back line, and then Reboot to try to save the Echo Form. For mostly saving Echo, because what we're really trying to bait out here is the double play on the Genetics, right?
All right. Let's do it.
Cool.
Just cool-headed, yeah.
I guess the risk is drawing into Echo, but we're golden. We didn't do it because we still have a Consume that we could play, at least in theory. This may become our Swift Pot.
Yeah, I was leaning that way.
No attack.
Well, I mean, we can Darkness Zap and then dual cast a Frost.
How much is dual casting the Lightning?
5 damage 2 times.
10.
Oh, you want to go for the possibility, the 25% chance of killing the Slaver?
I think I do. I think that's such a strong turn.
Yeah, this is only 4 block if we do everything else for that anyway, so let's try it. Ugh.
You know, you gotta try, right?
You have to
try. So maybe it's, do we play the Darkness or do we not play the Darkness?
I don't really think there's a reason to play it.
I think we just play Defend here, yeah. And we've got heal from Birdface Urn, we've got heal from Meal Ticket, we've got heal from Eternal Feather. This is kind of like a feed run, you know? We should expect our health to go up and down. Because the plays on the genetic algorithm are really good. We're gonna feel them. If we can double play at every fight, it just paves the path to the heart. Surprised.
Wait, did I not play Echo Form? Yeah, I didn't. I let it burn, didn't I? Yep. That's my bad.
It's all good.
I'll tell you what happened is I sequenced that hand and I was like, no, but that doesn't block. I need to block. So I'll block. And then I'll play the Echo Form later.
We're still going to get 2 plays of Genetic. It's all good. They just won't be doubled. And we'll live with that. We'll sleep with it.
Oh, I'll try.
We'll dream about it.
I'll try to live with myself after that.
No, it's all good. We're already in the 20s. So it's already a huge impact card. I mean, we're already getting into impervious territory, right? There's one left, I think.
Get him. Also an extra heal. Yeah, no, I played both of them.
Oh, cool.
Ooh. I could take the rebound or I could pass. One thing I felt in that fight was, as we were trying to sustain the fight a little, we didn't have the ability to direct target enemies after the hyper beam.
Yep. I agree. And what's weird is we kind of, for a while, what was making that easy was Darkness. But since then, we've added 6 cards. I think that's part of what we're feeling is that we can't consistently Darkness down an enemy or 2 in the first 2 turns. And Rebound kind of helps that on both sides. It's just a 12 damage card. But it feels weird, doesn't it? I want this to be Sunder, actually. I wish it were upgraded. Because Sunder is a great Echo Form target, and it certainly kills enemies.
What if...
a little weird next to the Hyper Beam.
What if we consider Rebound not just as a way of dealing that direct damage and getting back Darkness, but also as of letting Genetic Algorithm pass and then coming back into the cycle?
Ooh, via hologram?
I mean, we can do it via hologram, but we can also just use Rebound on a later turn to send it back to the top of the deck for the next turn.
When you play the Genetic, you have to...
Not playing it. When you don't play it. When you hold it for a turn because you don't want to overblock.
How are you holding it?
putting it in the discard pile and then using rebound to put it on top of the deck. Wait, oh god, that's not.
That's headbutt. Or no, that's the ironclad card. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, my bad.
Yeah.
That.
I
God.
was so confused.
Remember when I said I'm on a full tank and the brains all.
Power.
Yep. I'm just
You
blasting
actually
IQ and neurons left, right, and center. Yeah, no, apparently not.
What happened was you were actually at maximum plus power, and the brain is a fragile vessel, and it was overflowing with power, which creates artifacts. It's not your fault. I've done this. We play this game so much, we just see colors and shapes.
Yep. So, do you still want this under them?
Gosh.
I could see it. Like, Hyper Beam's a good setup for it. You know, 2-turn setup. So, not awful. It's good against shapes next floor if we give it an upgrade. Or just double it.
I think this is just 2 max HP.
Okay.
I think it's just 2 max HP. I think we can do slightly better. I think what we really want is a bullseye plus and a melter plus. If I were going to take things that just like set attack, those would be the 2 cards that I would add. That I think would be worth a place in our pocket watch draws.
Totally fair. Incoming damage is 23. I already have almost the whole block in hand. But can we do it in any other way? This is 5 for 20 total. Take 3.
Can we, if we just consume charge battery reinforced, where are we at?
Consume charge battery reinforced. 15 total. Well, sorry, actually no, that's 10 total against 23 incoming, so we take 13.
We take 13 for that play. Seems pretty brutal.
I think I'm mostly leaning towards just charge battery and then reinforced body. 2 cards played, extra energy next turn. We only take 3 damage.
The big considerations for getting consumed down here are that it lets us scale slightly more successfully with frost, and it helps us push damage because the only way to we have to do 21 total damage across the 2 to force the mystic to heal. Right now we're at 12. So like there's some consideration to try to get across that threshold. What if we strike would put us at 18, and then we would have to luck out on getting the lightning on the right side? Yeah, you know, this fight, once we play Echo Form, our block is good enough. I think you're right. I think we can afford to do that. I think we can charge battery reinforce. Okay. Then we still draw 3 cards. We have a better Echo Form turn next turn, possibly.
All right. Well, there's an electrodynamics if we want to get it in play already.
I think that here's my thought. I think it's cool-headed because there's a 1 in 6 chance for Echo. And if we see it, we play it. And if we don't, we Electro just to push that damage that we need.
Because we know that the next cycle has the Echo Form in it, so do we want to just play the Darkness?
Yes, I think so.
Cool.
And we got to that 20 damage point, so Mystic will heal next turn.
Frontliner is not going to do any multi-attacking nonsense because the Mystic's still alive, so yeah, we just get a free turn here. Perfect. There is some micro with that static, which is to double play it for 2 extra life, but I don't think that micro is going to matter. Yeah, I think that one might be. I think that's like near the threshold of how much min-maxing I'll do.
It's totally fair. There has to be some limit.
Do we? I mean, I'm just zap once.
Sure.
Pretty much the rest of this fight is just, you know, hold and wait.
Yep. This is a deck which is shaping up to be crazy durable. Between all the healing effects and all of the blocking effects, the things that we're missing are just a tiny bit of early game consistency to get down those key cards. So like Mummified Hand is god tier. A tiny bit of burst damage. And then curious. I mean, it does help us with the setup. It's just we don't have much draw to really support. I'm not gonna lie. I think this turbo is very good. What we're moving towards quickly is that kind of the on and off pocket watch deck. where you have a turn of 5 cards, which is held down by some consistency through like orbs. And then you have a turn of 8 cards where you play all 8 of them through the power of things like turbo and then giant doubled powers.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah, the draw that I was considering, I was looking at the deck and I was like, yep, no, very few of these cards say draw, but I forgot that we have relics, frankly.
Yeah. That's the power of the relic. Here I am. Here I go talk about Pocket Watch again. It's a single relic that can solve your draw for the whole run.
Mm-hmm.
I think, are we going into the boss yet?
We're 2 fights away from the boss, or possibly a question mark and a fight away from boss.
We definitely want loop upgraded, right? Because double looping after a couple consumes is obscene.
Mm-hmm.
We're on... Obscene is like my word of the night, by the way. Do you get words like that? Where it just gets 100%. Stuck and you use it? Just get in a word mood.
1,000%, yeah. I often get like called out on it of... Hey, this seems to be the word of the day at the moment, Raps. I'm like, yeah.
I don't know why this one got in my head. I'm not sure where I found that.
I was watching a show last night. Someone said that word and it hit my ear in an interesting way.
Yeah, I guess. 6 focus. I mean, where does that 6 focus Frost Orb is passively blocking for 8 and then 4 more times? That's a 5 times 8. That's a 40 block by itself.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot of longevity. Or the other way around, an 11 by 5 is 55 damage a turn with just a lightning orb. It's a dark orb that grows 5 times every turn. That's certainly our answer to how we want to scale out of fights.
So I definitely agree that we want that upgraded, but we have this upgrade and we have another upgrade that we're almost certainly going to be using for an upgrade before the boss.
Because we cannot rest.
Yep. Exactly. So what are we going to be doing there? Because if there the upgrade is going to be, Hyper Beam, then why would we not do Hyper Beam right now for the possibility of like going off to the left to the Colosseum or something like that? I want the Hyper Beam upgraded as well because I'm looking at it and I'm like, this is the solution to all of the shapes fights right now.
I agree. I just have such a strained relationship with this card right now because I watched us use it to close the cultist fight without playing genetic algorithm, and this is me being like fastidiously attached to the value of genetic algorithm. I just know because I've seen it happen so many times. I've used it so many times that it's worth a fair amount of health for us to get that card to a really big number because it singularly blocks a whole turn against the heart and maybe more with the right relics. So it's worth doing. That doesn't mean that you shouldn't upgrade your damage cards. So I agree with the play. I think Hyper Beam here is sweet. And the idea of going towards Colosseum or hell, Romeo and Juliet, I like going left here.
Cursed Tome? Ooh.
Strikes 4 bites away from here.
I don't want it.
I think we're good. Yeah. We have all the sustain we need. And we've already removed a couple strikes. Which is... I don't actually think is sunk cost fallacy. I think that's actually just valid.
Yes. No, I think that's extremely valid as well. I back when that and Council of Ghosts were both in the game, like I had my initial read of them as these are kind of mirror events to one another, and I feel that the vampire should give you the same amount of bites as you have remaining in your deck, because oftentimes you only want 1 or 2 of them. Right? Yeah. It's enough of the sustain. So it would make that better as you remove strikes from the deck rather than being worse as you remove strikes from the deck. Because oftentimes when you're removing strikes, it's because you want to increase the consistency of drawing the other cards in your deck, and suddenly you're just drawing bites every turn.
Yeah, it's curious. Bites were given a soft and subtle nerf at a particular point in the history of this game, and it was the point that Runic Dodecahedron was removed.
Extremely powerful nerf, that one, unfortunately. I loved the Runic Dodecahedron. I was all on board.
I did too. It's okay though. You know what? I am not one to whine about a decision like that, because while I really enjoyed playing around that relic and things like using bites to, consistently get value out of Runic every turn, I also understand that the game is fun, at least in part because the cognitive space is complex but limited enough to where it's enjoyable. So removing relics is awesome because it can keep from running into just too much cognitive overhead. And I do understand that picking up a Runic Dodecahedron in the 3rd act when you will never be at full health is tough, but it's a roguelike, right?
Yeah.
That's part of what they do.
I mean, did we not get Eternal Feather from the Spire Shield and Spear?
Yep.
Although that's a bad example because that is another avenue they're looking to remove
Yeah.
that from.
Or I guess it's a roguelite. I have been chastised for this in the past.
I
Apparently, roguelite has some amount of meta progression,
yes.
which this game does have a splash of in the beginning, and roguelike is closer to the original idea of a rogue, where each run is self-sufficient and there's no advancement between runs.
I'll admit I found the distinction pedantic for a very long time personally. I've started changing.
Oh.
I've started going on board with it because there have been multiple times where I've picked up a game that is like either billed as a roguelike or people discuss it as a roguelike, and then I played it and it's about incrementing these like systems for your main character to just become more powerful until you overwhelm the game. And I'm like, yeah, but like the thing I love about roguelikes, KS, is my experience being the thing that makes me capable, being the only differential factor between me and how I perform in the game. Not just for, you know, kind of like, I did it, is, you know, I just made my way through, that kind of thing. But also because it helps me see how well I'm performing as a player. I've been experiencing this a lot recently in Curse of the Dead Gods, which, like, yes, it is a roguelite, but the meta-progressive elements are nowhere near as impactful as just getting to play better, knowing the parry animations better, knowing the enemies, knowing the maps better. And every single episode has just been me demonstrating, this is what I learned last episode, here's how I'm implementing it, and here's how much further it got me.
And that feels so good, right? It's one mechanic that can be bent in lots of different ways. And fundamentally, what meta progression wants to do in lots of games is to offer an extended onboarding ramp. It's a tutorial. And as you unlock things, to keep the original space of the game from being too overwhelming while you learn more about the game. And that's actually really good. It can become frustrating when it's just secretly a JRPG on top of your rogue, where it's like you really are you just play the game a lot, and eventually you get enough meta points over 100 hours of play to where you become very strong. Yeah. I've had this discussion many times because while I see the frustrations around the meta progression, at the same time, if I were to make the game, I would have it. It was so good in Slay the Spire, I think. By the way, are we just trying to dance on the edge of chaos tonight?
I'm trying, but it's not working. Look at these draws.
No. I mean, with our topics. Your chat is going to be a maelstrom.
I honestly, I don't...
Meta progression, roguelikes and roguelites. Like, next you're going to tell me that you eat pineapple on your pizza. It's just, we're just playing with every dangerous internet topic. Is that the play?
I understand that the bait on the hook there is for me to say, why I do? And then, but no, no. But I don't have a problem with it. It's not a problem to me whatsoever. But more than that, also, I feel that when topics that have nuance and topics upon which people can respectfully disagree come up, a lot of the time the comments that I end up getting are, you know, 3 paragraphs long, excellently written. Like, here's my thoughts on this. Here's
your comments are very good.
Yeah, I'm real pleased with it, frankly.
I'm really impressed by them. It really humanized the YouTube experience for me, actually. Seeing your comment section, it's really nice. I read them and I enjoy it, and that's cool.
I do think that, like, YouTube comments, like, as a phrase, get such a bad rap for, don't get me wrong, an excellent reason. But to also consider, like, small creators communities as YouTube comments, like, Reddit at large is not one singular subreddit that is dedicated to a certain thing, and the culture of those things can be wholly different based on you know, administrative practices and also the kind of channel culture that led to it.
You subverted the bad rap with a good Rhapsody.
It's the attempt at the absolute least. I am very... I think it's just end the fight.
You have double loop. You can't do anything next turn anyway. But we are... I'm beginning to understand that, at least in part, your interest in upgrading the genetic algorithm is because I think that my play and yours have diverged more in this run than they typically do. Because while our thinking and our strategy on picks align really, really closely, I will be bending over backwards in these fights to not get lightning online in order to be sure that I double play the genetics. And we can sometimes do it with, like, consume and loops with cool headed. It's usually going to cost us some life, I think that's offset by the fact that we have Eternal Feather, and so that's the big thing, is that we can afford to not block more because we're healing anyway. But I definitely think this is a card that it doesn't just reward, it actually demands some amount of kind of cheese to get it online. It's still going to be, it's already great. Like, it's already in the 30s, but I think we would be in like 45 range.
I think
38 range, yeah.
I think I always get the feeling of the value that I am going to lose instantly may not be overcome by the value that I am going to get eventually with this. So those kinds of plays don't always enter my mind. This is, by the way, not to say that that is the correct way. It is definitely not.
No.
Especially
this
always.
This is part of the fun. I'm having a blast watching and engaging with this run with you and co-piloting it. It's super, super cool.
As am I. It's a great time. In particular, the thing that made me think about this first was the first time we took feed, the very first episode. The amount of times it was like, no, we'll take this hit. We'll take not just this hit, but possibly like a hit for another turn.
40. You can take so much damage because by the time you have 150 health, when you rest, you just like get it all back.
Yeah.
Or you get a Reaper later on. And this is a very similar circumstance. By the time our genetic algorithm full blocks every turn in the game, plus we have Birdface Turn. Birdface Turn is really the thing that allows us to be greedier.
Yes. It's really, really nice to have the
extra act too. So we've got plenty more time to continue to grow.
I'm kind of more keen for the 2 max HP here. I don't want to add more Frost cards to the deck that are unupgraded. We have the 2 as well as the ability to duplicate them at will. The deck is currently relatively thin, especially after the first play exhausts the exhaust cards as well as some of the powers.
Yeah. The reason I'm super into it is I think if there's anything that we're feeling as we're getting further in this act, that sense of what's weird is not getting to Echo Form. It's just so important. So I'm with you. We're in one of those runs to where there is a single card in the deck that is by far the best card and that we really want to get to very quickly.
Yeah.
And that's a good time to skip. Especially with Bronze Automaton showing up to try to take it from us.
Ooh.
Turn 1 consume is hog.
Yeah, it is. I'm just looking at this going consume, static discharge, pass?
Yeah.
It's a little unfortunate, but it is good to get those out early.
Yeah. Yeah, and I don't think we need to greed the double static. Nice. Nice. That's awesome. So this was really important because the orbs are both stealing, and if we hadn't seen Echo Form, they were likely taking it. Unfortunate thing is that now they're taking Electrodynamics, so we do have to get one of them down so that we can get it back.
And they're taking Hyper Beam as well.
Yep. The 2 things that kill AoE targets, but I don't think we were going to Hyper Beam in this fight anyway because of the power of double loop. We really don't want to sacrifice any focus here because 6 focus double loop that wins the fight.
I think we're getting them down using a Echo Formed Darkness.
Agree.
I think it's just, Echo Form Charge Battery here. Hold.
Yep. Yeah.
Right.
We can double. With 79 health and with the play that we have lined up, we absolutely can double play Genetic in this fight. Totally. This is a cool fight because I think it's going to demonstrate how much this deck came online in the last act with literally just a couple cards.
This is interesting. Like, obviously, double Genetic is good, double Darkness is good, double Loop is good, but I don't think either of these has to happen now, so it's like double Darkness, just defend.
I think I would double... Well, it's interesting. There is a consideration to double Darkness to get it going. I think this is double Loop Darkness Cool-Headed.
Okay.
Yeah.
So double Loop Darkness Cool-Headed to get it in the front?
Yeah. That way, they're just dead when we draw Dual Cast next turn.
Sure. Let's drop a Defend as well, and because we're already over the Pocket Watch.
Totally.
Well, I mean, that one's already going to get targeted, so...
This Dark Orb is going to be very big.
Yep. Oh, you gotta love a 60.
When I said we were drawing Dual Cast, I did lie.
Did you? Because this turn isn't happening. I'm just going to pass this turn, and then we're going to draw Dual Cast.
This turn is very silly. It is a silly place.
Let's not go there. Well, there's the genetic algorithm. We still haven't got...
Yeah, double genetic, single dual. It's great. And then we're looping the Frost Orb next turn for the Hyper Beam.
We're looping the Frost Orb for the next turn for the Hyper Beam. Yep. Also good. So just stop. Use the pocket watch.
So. Yeah, because we want to see consume too, right? Or double darkness, I guess. Or double. Yeah. Do like. My God.
There we go.
We won.
Look set up.
GG.
We got a GG tick.
GG.
Shuffle
Whatever
2 times.
Don't double consume. That's the only way to lose. We would have to try to win with hyper beams. To be honest, we have enough health that we might be able to do it. Just hyper beam our way to victory here.
Mm-hmm.
Hyper.
Honestly, if we were in the position where we were still starting each floor completely healed,
you would try to do it.
I might.
Yeah. It's a good flex.
Okay. Well, we have both genetics played, right?
Yep.
So
but you can
double dual cast for 210, 232. That's not going to be lethal, actually.
We can just double hollow for charge and reinforce, and then play a single dual cast.
Oh, I was just going to then drop reinforce.
Oh, sure. Yeah, we can do that. Sure. I mean, there's no rush, right? We will only continue to grow more powerful.
I have to. I simply have to. Yeah. GG. Okay, I was gonna ask whether or not in that battle we would possibly consider a multicast. My pitch for it is that it will end fights when we end up in scenarios like that.
I think it's absolutely incredible. It makes it to where there's no question in my mind that after delaying we
Like,
hold up.
Multicast kind of wants an upgrade right now, but I think we're basically done with our upgrades. Do you think we're playing solitaire at this point?
So
we kind of playing solitaire.
I was actually about to visit door number 3.
Oh, it's only 7 cards right. It's 6 cards right now, actually.
True, but look how strong our other cards are. What this really is removal of our remaining strikes and defends. At this stage, I am frequently still pretty excited about defense because they're really relevant block. And I think that taking a 5th energy is not, well, first of all, it's crazy strong with our X cost. And to be honest, I am leaning towards that's consistently a victory against the heart, just to take that energy. But Pandora's Box is a chance to finish exchanging all those basics, which we're really just not playing very much from this point. And if only 1 or 2 of them hits a relevant card, we're skipping them anyway. And now we have whatever, 1 extra good attack and that 1 force field in the deck or something. And that's pretty good. That's an upgrade.
It is. I think part of the reason that I really want an energy is because part of what I want to do right now is add skim. Part of what I want to do is just add draw into this deck. Yeah. And it would make that much easier to draw into and then play things like Echo Form or Electrodynamics. It makes our digging a lot better, but also with the X-Cost cards that we have in the deck, including Multicast.
Yeah, we should go energy. Big turns bigger, and we can always still choose to limit play to get Pocket Watch when we need to. It opens up more doors for us. I think you're right. I do think it's Dome, though.
Nice. I'm just preparing myself for the extra overhead that's going to be running the entire time that we're playing with Dome.
I tried to give you a backdoor with the Pandoras. Pandoras is good here, but I think 5 energy is just incredible line, right?
I appreciate the attempt to let me off easily. We're going to explore exactly how much my brain melts down in the next episode. Link to the description down below. Hope to see you there.